Good evening. Shabbat Shalom. That is the signification is not a word. That is the signal to take your seats, please. Come on in and take your seats, please. Thank you. Try and start as close to being on time as possible. Nice haircut, Hillary. Nice haircut. Okay, so we're back together again. Got the band back together. And let's start out, as we always do, with good things that happened in our lives between last week and this week. Oh, a first-timer. Hey, Kitty, I don't even know your name. Kyle and Kitty got him engaged. Yay. I think I know a rabbi who might do the wedding for you. Yes, Susan.
I thought Michael was going to say that. He says I'm the speaker in the family. So we just celebrated our 32nd anniversary. And when I was in grad school, we got married. And one of my professors said it was never going to work. And here we are.
Show that, Professor. Yes. Mazal Tov. Yes, Marcel. So your 11-year-old granddaughter just got the role of Glinda in The Good Witch in Wizard of Oz. And just so you know, the reason why I'm repeating what you're saying is because I received feedback this week from someone who watches at home every week saying they appreciated the fact that I was repeating it because they can't hear it when you're speaking. So thank you, Marcel. Congratulations to your granddaughter. That's a great part. Danica. So if you don't know what the FAST test is the Florida Achievement Standards Test. I believe that's what it stands for. They take the beginning of the year, the middle of the year, and the end of the year. Beginning of the year is to see what they remember from the previous year and how much they have to learn for this year. Middle of the year, see how they're doing. End of the year, make sure they can go on to the next grade. And Danica received excellent scores on her FAST test. So congratulations to Danica. Any other things? Yes, Linda.
I celebrated my 77th birthday this week.
You celebrated your 77th birthday. I would not have guessed a day over 57. I'm getting better at this. Any others? I like to say welcome back to our president, our immediate past president, Kay. Welcome back from your 6-week-long cruise. And I will invite Ruth Stern and Amy Schwartz to light our Shabbat candles, which you will find on the screen. And if you'd like to follow along in the book, it's on page 2.
But the person operating the lighter isn't that well.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu b'chadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God,
Adonai, our sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
This is the first Shabbat before Rosh Hashanah, in the immediate month of Elul. And you will notice in tonight's service and in every service moving forward, we will have at least one reading reminding us of the atrocities that happened on October 7th, 2023. Cry out to the heavens for the innocent taken captive. Cry out to the earth soaked in so much blood. Rail at the sky for the raped and the tortured on that brutal day of hate embodied and evil incarnate. O grief of griefs, O sorrow of sorrows, O heartache of heartaches, my bed is soaked in tears. I have become ashes and sackcloth. My heart refuses consolation. For what consolation can there be with so many murdered and kidnapped, brutalized and maimed on a single day of terror? God of compassion, grant a perfect rest under your canopy of peace to those murdered on October 7th, 2023, those whose bodies were snatched, those who expired in captivity, and to those who fell defending their homes in the land on that day and the days, weeks, and months to come. God of mercy, grant release from the terrors and nightmares of captivity to the hostages who have been freed, and to those who remain prisoners in body or spirit, them, their families, the friends, and all of them of whom they've touched. Grant refuah shlema to all the wounded and injured of body and soul. God of all life, bless the defenders and the protectors of Israel with safety and strength. Bless our military and political leaders with wisdom and fortitude. Bless us all with hope for the day when peace at long last comes for the people of Israel, for all of the inhabitants of the land, for our neighbors, and for all of the Middle East, and throughout the four corners of the earth. And we say together, Amen. We continue with the singing of Havana Shira.
Havana Shira,
We enter this sanctuary to welcome Shabbat. Within these walls, we sit surrounded by numberless generations. Our ancestors built the synagogue as a visible sign of God's presence in their midst. Throughout our long history and our endless wanderings, it has endured, a beacon of truth, love, and justice for all humanity. Its presence guided our ancestors to lives of righteousness, holding up to them a vision of their truest selves. Now we, in our turn, come into this sanctuary to affirm the sacredness of our lives. May we enter this place in peace. May holiness wrap around us as we cross its threshold. Weariness, doubt, the flaws within our human hearts, the harshness of the weak, let these drop away at the door. In the brightness of Shabbat, let peace settle upon us as we lift our hearts in prayer. We continue with the singing of Lecha Dodi, which is on the screen, or page 20.
Shamor v'zachor b'diבור achad, ishmi
Remain standing for the Chatzi Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash, page 26. V'alma divrach gerute v'yamlich malchute b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imeru amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevorach le'olam u'almei almaya yitbarach yitbarach ve'yishtabach ve'yitpa'ar ve'yitromam ve'yitnaseh ve'yitadar ve'yitaleh ve'yitalal shmei kudusha prichu Leila min kol birchata v'shirata tush bechata v'nechemata damiran bi'alma v'meru amen. Continue with the Baruch Hu on page 28 or on the screen. Be seated. We continue on page 30, or on the screen. What's going on here? Let's stick to page 30 for now. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim b'chokma poteach sha'arim Uvidvuna mishane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umsader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtsono, borei yom v'layla golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, ma'avir yom umevi layla, umavdil bein yom uvein layla, Adonai tziva'ot shemo. El Chai v'Kayam Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Hama'ariv Aravim. We continue with Ahavat Olam, hopefully, on this. Nope, not on the screen, but the words are on the screen.
Israel,
Please rise for the Shema on page 34 or on the screen.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed.
Please be seated. You may follow along with "And Thou Shalt Love" either on the screen or on page 36.
And you shall love Adonai, your God, with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. And these words which I command you on this day shall be in your heart, shall be in your heart, and you shall teach them diligently unto your children, and you shall speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up, and when you rise up, and you shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, and they shall be for frontlets between your eyes, and you shall write them on the doorposts of your house, and upon your gates, and upon your gates, that you may remember and do all of my commandments, and be holy unto your God, unto your God, unto your God.
Page 39. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Micha Mocha.
Micha Mocha
Oh, goodness. Page 42. Give us a place to rest, Adonai our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai hapurei sukat shalom, aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. V'shamru, page 44, or the screen.
V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם, ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש.
We rise for the tefillah on page 46 or on the screen, whichever you prefer. Adonai sefartai tiftach ufi agi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei HaKol, V'Zocher Chastei Avot v'Imahot, U'Mevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, L'Ma'an Shemo B'Ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham v'Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayei hakol atah Rav lehoshia, Morid hatal, Mechalkel chaim bechesed, Mechayei hakol berachamim rabim. Somech noflim verofei cholim, umatir asurim, umekayem emunato, lishenei afar, michamocha ba'al gevurot, umido melach, melech memit umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah l'hachayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayei hakol.
V'shimcha kadosh, u'kdoshim b'chol yom, yahalalucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. You are holy, and your name is holy. Those who strive to be holy, declare your glory day by day. Blessed is our God, blessed is the one, whole world ablaze with splendor. Atah kadosh, v'shimcha kadosh, u'kdoshim b'chol yom, yahalalucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
Blake Singer would be very impressed. Please be
I
seated.
like you singing with me.
Oh, please be seated. We are now on page 55 or on the screen. Disturb us, Adonai, ruffle us from our complacency, make us dissatisfied with the peace of ignorance, the quietude which arises from a shunning of the horror, the defeat, the bitterness, and the poverty, physical and spiritual, of humans. Shock us, Adonai, deny to us the false Shabbat, which gives us the delusions of satisfaction amid a world of war and hatred. Wake us, O God, and shake us from the sweet and sad poignancies rendered by half-forgotten melodies and rubric prayers of yesteryears. Make us know that the border of the sanctuary is not the border of living, and the walls of your temples are not shelters from the winds of truth, justice, and reality. Disturb us, O God, and vex us. Let not your Shabbat be a day of torpor and slumber. Let it be a time to be stirred and spurred to action. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. We continue with Ritzei on page 56 or on the screen.
Ritzei Adonai, Eloheinu, Amecha Yisrael, Ru tefi
We continue with the singing of Shalom Rav. Let's continue singing, shall we? Elohai Nitzor.
Elohai Nitzor Leshonei Mera Uspatai Midaber Mirma Vilim Kalalai Nafshi Tidum Benafshi Ke'afar Lakol Tihye Elohai 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 Nitzor Leshonei Mera Uspatai Midaber Mirma Vilim Kalalai Nafshi Tidum Benafshi Ke'afar Lakol Tihye Elohai Elohai Betach, betach libi Betach, betach libi Betach libi B'toratecha Elohai Nitzor L'shamei Meira Uspatai Midaber Mirma Vilim Kalalai Nafshi Tidum V'nafshi Ke'afar Lakol Tihye Elohai 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 Nitzor L'shamei Meira Uspatai Midaber Mirma Vilim Kalalai Nafshi Tidum V'nafshi Ke'afar Lakol Tihye Elohai Elohai Yehu L'ratzon Imrefi V'hekyon libi Lefanecha Adonai 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 Adonai
So before we move on to our silent meditation, when we were in Marietta at our congregation there, there was the Shalom Rav Marsha, and she always sang the Shalom Rav at High Holy Days, just like you guys did. And I used to love watching Bacha because she got really emotional when Marsha would sing, especially on our last Friday night there. And then we went to Knoxville, and they had a professional choir that they actually hired professional singers, and they paid them, and I had them do Elohai Netzor, and they did it beautifully. I was watching her while the two of you were singing together, and she was the smile on her face was like she found Elohai Netzor again. So, well done for that one and for Ritzeh. You guys did really, really well together. You sound beautiful together. Let's take a few moments now for our own silent thoughts and prayers. We come now in our service to the time when we ask for God's prayers for those who are in need of healing, whether it be mind, body, or spirit. As usual, we will have the names that will scroll. However, if there is a name that you have not added to the list through myself or through Vanessa, and you would like to add their names into our prayers of healing, please raise your hand so I may call on you. Yeah.
Frank and Adele Levy.
Yes, Ken. How about your mom too, right? I'll say her name for you, although she's on the list. Yeah. We join together either on page 253 if you'd like to look at the words, or on the screen.
Those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit. Let us say Amen. And let us say let
This past week has been painful for the Jewish community. 6 more innocent Israeli hostages were found, murdered recently by Hamas terrorists. The enemy we are facing is one that does not play, quote, by the rules, and only seeks the total annihilation of not only Israel, but of all Jews. Throughout our history, the Jewish people have experienced many, many challenges from outside sources. The Egyptians, the Assyrians, Haman, Amalek, Hitler, Mussolini, Ahmadinejad, Hamas, and the list goes on and on. It may surprise you that presently one of our biggest sources of challenges to our future is Jews. Often we read or hear of stories of Jews fighting other Jews by force or by words. It is not just in the political world that we find this infighting. Rather, too many times we see these conflicts occur over different interpretations of our sacred documents, especially the Torah. When we speak of what it means to be a supporter of Israel, we may look to our Torah and find passages that may and will be interpreted differently. This week's Torah portion, Shoftim, Judges, contains 2 of the most quoted statements in the Scriptures. One, Deuteronomy chapter 16, verse 20, Tzedek, Tzedek, Tirdof, justice, justice shall you pursue. And Deuteronomy 19:21, Nefesh b'nefesh, ayin b'ayin, shen b'shen, yad b'yad, regel b'regel. Life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot. Both of these statements may be used to support different ideologies regarding the argument over what it means to support Israel. Let us take a look at the second quote first. There is a reference to the Latin principle lex talionis, which occurs several times throughout our Torah. Leviticus chapter 24, 19 through 21, Exodus 21, verses 22 through 25, and also here in Deuteronomy chapter 19, verse 21. Many critics of the Bible have stressed the primitive nature encapsulated in these laws. However, according to the Plaut Torah commentary in the essays regarding the reference to the Exodus passage, the rule an eye for an eye, which appears to lay down the principle of literal retribution or talion, retaliation authorized by law, in which the punishment corresponds in kind and degree to the injury. This was not formulated for such a purpose, the reference in Exodus. Cruel retributive legal practices were introduced during the Middle Ages in European countries, that while it was presumed these practices reflected our biblical passages, there is no case of physical talion or retribution recorded in the Bible. Let me say that again. There is no case of physical talion or retribution recorded in the Bible. Studies of older Near Eastern law codes have shown that no such talion was the intention of biblical law. These old law codes considered many of these types of crimes as private injuries to be dealt with privately. The law only fixed the amount of compensation that the injured party could demand. In a modern setting, when we read in the news about suicide bombers or terrorist activities within Israel, we usually find a wide array of response. We find ourselves arguing over who supports Israel more, this politician or that politician. People say things like, well, the politically left believe, or I know what the politically conservative Jews think. What is most damaging is when Jews compete to show who loves or supports Israel more. Quote, Opinions, however, need to be constructive. Arguments and polemics that aim only to destruct or divide us should not enter into our communal discussion. We can question our traditional norms and conventions. We may criticize, argue, or even find basic ethical faults with each other's positions. However, excluding or ignoring the other rather than engaging has no place in the Jewish conversation and should not be tolerated. This quote by Ben Sales, who's the former editor-in-chief of New Voices magazine, makes a salient point. As Jews, we all have a responsibility to support Israel. And since none of us are the same, we will surely have differences in our opinions of what it means to support Israel. We may engage each other in conversation and discussion regarding our differences, but it is of vital importance to recognize each other's opinions and work together to support rather than argue and cause a larger divide. I believe we can all agree that although there may be extremist organizations and individuals out there who seek the destruction of the state of Israel, there are also those who seek a peaceful end to the struggles in the Middle East. There is also, believe it or not, disagreement with the interpretation of the first quote, "Justice, justice shall you pursue." One interpretation is that since an eye for an eye comes after the aforementioned verse, the justice we seek is revenge. This is a very dangerous interpretation. There are those out there that take this literal interpretation very seriously. In the United States, supposedly, our legal system protects us from this kind of vigilante justice. Apart from courts, apart from trials, apart from due process. We have a justice system that protects us from committing acts of vengeance. As we are wronged, we have a way of handling it that takes the responsibility off of our shoulders. It is our responsibility to acknowledge the justice system while considering our own reactions to others. And I know this next statement is going to surprise all of you. In our congregation, we do disagree from time to time on a variety of subjects. I was looking right at Janet, and she says, no. These disagreements are quite healthy. I'm sure you've all heard the joke about the 10 rabbis and their 15 opinions. Yeah. The point is, although we may disagree with each other, we must always find value in each other and in our right to disagree. When we turn our backs to a dissenting opinion, we lose the opportunity to grow in our own ideals and values. Maybe you've thought about this before. Why are there minority opinions throughout the Talmud? Because the rabbis wanted to make sure that we understood the value of all of the opinions. And if you have a disagreement with someone and you walk away with even stronger belief in your own values, great! At least the other person feels valued by you. None of us are expected to agree with everything or everyone we hear. But what we are expected to do is to value the people who are giving the opinion. When I was a brand new second-year rabbinic student, a long time ago, serving a congregation in Trenton, Michigan, I was conducting an adult education class, a Parshat HaShavua, a discussion on the weekly Torah portion. One of the congregants raised his hand and asked me if it was okay if he believed in the literality of the Bible. He wanted to know if it was okay if he believed in every word of the Torah and that the Torah was given by God to Moses at Sinai. I told him that he may not be so comfortable in a Reformed Jewish Torah study because we were much more concerned with the stories and the values gained from the stories. Do you know what he heard? You don't belong in a Reformed synagogue. Looking back, I believe I was a little wrong in my response to him. My response should have been and would be today, that's great. Your opinions and beliefs are just as valid as someone who would disagree. We should be more concerned with learning and growing, not with who and what is right and wrong. Our Torah is truly a document for the ages. We may look to it for answers, suggestions, guidelines, and for great stories. What is most important is that we see within the sacredness of the Torah the sacred of the individual. We learn from Genesis that each of us was created in God's image, B'Tselem Elohim, and each of us is valid and sacred. My prayer this evening is that we begin again our conversations on Israel, the future of the Jewish community, and that we continue to recognize the holiness that is within all of us. Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael. Blessed are you, God, who loves your people Israel. Amen. We will continue on page 282 or on the screen, your choice. Please rise as I invite the children up to open our ark doors. We got two more coming, so just hang on a second. Come on up, guys. It's okay, it's okay. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kigoye haratzot, velo samanu kechel kadama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, vegoralenu kechol hamonam, fanachnu koreim, umishtachavim umodim, lifnei melech, malchei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, page 287 or on the screen. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yihye Adonai echad u'shemo echad. Please be seated. I wish it was still cute for me to run around taking my shirt off. I think that I might get in trouble if I did that. Thanks, Danica. I always know I can get support from you. The light of life is a finite flame. Like the Shabbat candles, life is kindled, it burns, it glows. It is radiant with warmth and beauty. But soon it fades, its substance is consumed, and it is no more. In light we see, in light we are seen. The flames dance and our life burns down in gutters. There is an end to the flames. We see no more and are no more seen, yet we do not despair, for we are more than a memory slowly fading into the darkness. With our lives we give life. Something of us can never die. We move in the eternal circle of darkness and death, of light and life. This week, we remember Hirsch Goldberg Poland, Eden Yerushalmi, Uri Danino, Alex Lubnov, Carmel Gott, and Alma Sarusi, the 6 hostages that were found brutally murdered within days of when they were found. We also remember the other people who died while as a hostage, while in captivity. We also think of Christian Angulo, 14, Mason Schmermerhorn, 14, Christina Iramai, 53, and Richard Aspinwall, 39, brutally murdered in Georgia yesterday, 2 days ago. We add to those names Gloria Salvaggio. We also add to those names the following yahrzeits: Cy Burke, father of Joan Brand; Fanny Kupchik, grandmother of Diane Gilmore; Joseph Shear, grandfather of Marty McLean; Irving Rubin, father of Jay Rubin; Alfred Gilmore, husband of Diane Gilmore; Richard Salbater; Gerald Marks, father of Leslie Richmond; Phyllis Siegel, mother-in-law of Philip Russell; Rochelle Spear, mother of Diane Hartman. And we are in Shloshim, the 30-day mourning period, for James Morris Weiner, brother of Steve Weiner; Barbara Hoppenfeld, sister of Bill Fox; and Johnny Charninsky, dear friend of Ruth Stern. If there is another name you'd like to add to our prayers in memory this Shabbat, please raise your hand. Please rise, turn to page 294, or look to the screen. Yit Gadal V'Yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, B'Alma Divrach Hirutei V'Yamlich Malchutei, B'Chayichon V'Yomeichon, U'V'Chayei Dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'Agala V'Zman Kari V'Imru, Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mivorach Le'olam Olamei Almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei dekudesha brichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tush b'chata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, huya asei shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Zichronam livracha, may all their memories be for a blessing as we say together, amen. Please be seated. And now I invite our president for some announcements.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Next week, Friday, September 13th, is the installation of officers and trustees during our Shabbat service.
Did we do that on purpose? Friday the 13th, installing the new board?
I know, it's irony. It is also the baby naming for Judy and Alan Eber's granddaughter. So please join us for the celebratory Shabbat, even though it's the 13th. September 14th, Saturday, is services with Rabbi Box at 10:30 a.m. Saturday, September 28th, is Slichot service at 6:30 p.m. A complete list of the high holiday services can be found on our website. Saturday, September 14th, at 2 o'clock is the memorial service for David Keith in the UCC sanctuary.
That's a mistake. Actually, the service is tomorrow at 2 o'clock in the church, not the 14th. We had the wrong date. It's tomorrow.
My apologies. Upcoming events. Saturday, September 21st is the art show. Tickets are $20 per person, are available in the office or with Marcel or Amy Schwartz. Sunday, October 13th at 2 p.m., Sisterhood invites all congregants and guests to their general meeting. The League of Women Voters will be presenting a program with the proposed amendments to the Florida Constitution. All are welcome. This is a free event. Break the Fast sign-up sheet can be found in the lobby on the donut. If you have any questions, please contact Debbie Zuckerman or Fran Stern. TBS is still looking for some help. Live streaming, see Mark Rockland, who is here today. Security, Daryl Etheridge, he's also here. And setup and cleanup for Oneg's, Barbara B. Adler. This week's Oneg Shabbat is sponsored by Amy Schwartz and Ruth Stern in honor of their birthdays. This week, Bima Flowers are sponsored by Dale and Steve Silver in honor of Brad's birthday, Ted Schwimmer in honor of Marcel's birthday, Amy Schwartz in honor of her birthday, Linda Donaldson in honor of her 77th birthday, Judith Marcus in honor of her birthday, Michael and Susan Ahern in honor of their 32nd anniversary, and Larry and Cindy Stone in honor of their 64th anniversary.
Each of them paid for 2 flowers. What? 64th. Yeah, they're really young. Our closing song this evening is Am Echad, one people. You've seen it before, but we need to be reminded.
ללא מילים, ללא תחושות, אין מנוס ממחשבות. יש פה קרע לא מוסבר, איך שרים כשלב נשבר. אני פה מול החדשות, לא מעכל את הדמעות. אנחנו עם נבחר, איך נחרד גורל אכזר. ואין תשובות, ערפל כבד נחת עכשיו. למי פונים? הנשמה פצועה בקרב. שמע ישראל אומרים יחדיו. עוד לא עבדה תקוותנו להיות חופשי בארצנו. שמע ישראל, כולנו עם אחד. תקוותנו להיות חופשי בארצנו. שמע ישראל, כולנו עם אחד. אי אפשר לתאר במילים את הזוועות, הנפש פצועה, רק רצינו לרקוד, לא רוצים עוד לראות אמהות שבוכות. מה כבר ביקשנו? בשקט לחיות? אין לנו ארץ אחרת, גם אם האדמה פה בוערת. אז די לפילוג, די לשנאה, מסתכלים עלינו, מנצלים את החולשה. זה הזמן לאהוב, להפיץ את התקווה, להרים את הראש, לחייך חזרה, כי כולנו אחים לא רק במלחמה. עם ישראל זה אותה משפחה, אנחנו ננצח, אין פה ספקות, בהיסטוריה ניצחנו בכל הקרבות. כל השונאים יאללה ביי, עם ישראל חי.
Kiddush and Motzi will be Ruth Stern and Amy Schwartz in our social hall. Shabbat Shalom.